welcome back to A.S.M Sekai. Today we're going to talk about The Last of Us, a post-apocalyptic video game turned into a show. The Last of Us takes place in a fungal, infected world that has turned most of the human population into zombie-like creatures called the Infected. The story follows a smuggler who's tasked to escort a young girl named Ellie across the country to a resistant group known as the Fireflies. We're passionate about this show, and we know you are too. So grab a snack, settle in, and join us for some infected conversation about the world of Last of Us. What up, Moto?
What's up, man? How you been?
Good, good, good. So, episode 7.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, Eddie's taking the leadership, huh? As the chapter or episode suggested. It's always been Joel taking care of Ellie. It's the other way now. It's really interesting to see the growth of that. What's your thought on that?
Um, I really am in marvel when it comes to the direction of the show and the writing because every single moment is not wasted. It's like a work of art. So, in a sense, how it starts off with the struggle and the chaos and the panic of Ellie trying to help make sure Joel's good, and Joel telling her to leave. And you see for a second this hesitation, and when she walks up the stairs, right before she opens the door, she thinks there, and there's two directions she can possibly go right now. She could run, go back to Tommy, or find the Fireflies, whatever, or she could help Joel. And I really love how the storytelling so beautifully done. As soon as she opens the door, it's cliche, but it's still such a beautiful work of art when you tell story. So when she opens the door and is transported back to this flashback of her running, uh, really cool how they did the Riley. Stayed very true to the game, especially how the whole night was unfolding, their expression, and I love the suspense where, as a viewer, we knew she's gonna die, but at the same time, we're like, "Yo, when is it happening?" So is it happening now? So you always were on your toe, and I love that. I love that we haven't seen infected as much as the game actually has. Like in the game, every like 2 minutes is like storm or infected, whatever. It's like so many fights, and that's one of the biggest complaint about gamers. They're like, "Yo, there's not enough infected," but I'm loving the storytelling aspect and how they show all these little hints. I like especially the expressions on Ellie, and this is one thing I'll come back to this. I'll let you. I want to hear what you have to say. But the biggest takeaway, there's two. As one, we knew something is going to happen. We expected it. It was part of the story. We knew it was going to happen. I loved how Stranger Thingish they made it. How the zombie was sitting, chilling in the mall. It's very true to the game too, and how he wakes up. I love the design. I think the zombie clicker design is just freaking gorgeous. It's in a weird way. Like I want them to look so fearful, and they do. Um, but when after she stabs him and she laughs and she looks at her forearm and the blood and stuff is coming out and then she starts wiping it so fast, furiously, but her expression was so haunting. It's like somebody like was it felt so natural, like how she freaking acted, and I'm just like, wow, this girl, she's fucking fantastic. She can act. And last thing, how they showed the power and the draw Riley had over Ellie was beautiful. Like it was captivating to the character and the core. So it makes the whole Frank and what am I forgetting his name?
Bill?
Bill, sorry. Yes, fart right now. Frank and Bill. It makes the polar opposite of the same story.
All right. Yeah, yeah. It starts off really interesting because I think the first part highlights how Joel has taught Ellie. So it's very short clips of just different scenes, right? But you could see like he actually dragged Joel all the way across the field, right? So she was being very creative in terms of like whatever material she used, but she used the horse and whatever. But the horse wasn't just outside chilling. Like she made sure it was inside, so you can't spot it. uh and the way she's trying to take care, she understands what she needs to do, like everything. I think like you can see like the impact of Joel, like it doesn't overemphasize it in previous episode, but you start to see it. And then you get into the whole backstory of her and Riley, which I think everybody's been waiting for quite some time, because there's been so many hints throughout the show, from the first episode, the second, and and it was good to see the all the drop of ideas that in the first few episodes that start to be peeled back in the current episode, whether it's the pun joke or the Mortal Kombat game, or all the things is like you can now finally see where it's coming from. So that was interesting as a whole. I'm curious though, did you have Walkman when you were growing up?
Of course I did. I mean, I had I had a cassette player. I had the old school CD player. Like I had that, bro. Especially even with the headphones and everything. Everything. Like watching
Yeah,
like things like Guardian of the Galaxy brings back memories. But then Last of Us is true, very true to how nostalgic it is, and also at the same time, it also shows that how some certain technologies can outlast
yeah.
decades.
Well, I'm curious though, like in 2003 was not Walkman though, right? Was
CDs.
it
It was
CD
CDs.
players?
It was CDs.
CDs, yeah.
CDs started,
Yeah.
I would say, late 90s. But it
Yeah,
was
late 90s,
it was
and I
really
think
hard to get them. It was really hard to get them.
yeah.
Unless you bought
I
it.
also,
I used to burn all my songs.
also, yeah, yeah, yeah. Remember, you start making the huge binder full of CDs,
Yeah,
all the
yeah, yeah.
burned CDs, music.
Especially you have it in your
Yeah,
car, open it up, be like, "What CD was you
yeah,
on?"
yeah, exactly. That's kind of
We're talking
remind
about
me of the
copyright and
Walkman.
shit. Napster, LimeWire, the great days, the great old days.
Yeah, and then I think like 2003 is when the MD players came out. Do you remember those? They died very quick because
The bootleg MP3 players.
it's like you had a small disc. It's like a small CD inside. It was supposed to be the next generation, but
Yeah,
then iPhone came up with their iPods that had everything on
the
the.
iPod
They
Shuffle
just
was
killed it.
nice. The iPod Shuffle was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
First time,
So
I really thought the. We're jumping off another topic. We're going to technology right now.
yeah.
Uh, but no, but Walkman, yeah, man. I had a Walkman. What about you, Moto?
No, I actually didn't have it. So when she was playing, I was like, "Damn, that's super old tech." I never actually had Walkman. I had CD player. And I started making the collection with the CDs and stuff like that, and that was fun. But yeah, it's Last of Us always fun, like the flashback, because it stops at 2003, right? So a lot of the flashback moments is always exciting. And what's your four wonders of the shopping mall? Do you
Well,
have four
okay,
wonders of
okay.
shopping?
So,
I couldn't come to four. I got three, but I just curious if you have four
I, I
wonders of the shopping mall.
I don't know if I can consider it wonders. Um, so
Nothing is
we,
wonders to me.
yeah, I mean, I can understand why it's wonders for her because she
Yeah.
hasn't lived in that world of like technology, life, social interactions and stuff. So for them, it's like a whole new thing. Like for us humans, we have like other wonders, Niagara Falls, Taj Mahal. Like these are the wonders we know of. Uh, so, but if so, growing up, especially in middle school, I used to go to this arcade that was right by my middle school. Right after school, all of us used to run by. We used to play like like they had like arcade games there. We used to trade Pokemon cards, trade Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like play all the new Pokemon games and stuff, especially before Color. Um, but my favorite time used to be going to Pizza Hut, and they used to be our arcades, and they used to have Killer Instinct. Oh
Mm.
man, Killer
Mm.
Instinct was my shit. I mean, even Mortal Kombat. I grew up in both, but Killer Instinct was good, and Mortal Kombat. So when Riley and Ellie got to the arcade, the expressions they
That was
had, I
fun.
had the same expression. I had the same. I was just like, honestly speaking, this would be my wonder. Like I would like the merry-go-round. If I was living that world, I'd probably be like, "Yo, That's dope.
That's pretty dope. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do it, bro. Um, but when they went to the arcade, I was just like, oh my god, they're gonna die now. But it's just like, but it was just like, I can see their
Did you?
fascination.
Yeah, I didn't have a arcade moment too much, but growing up, going to the mall was the cool things to do. So that was
Yeah,
kind of interesting. Interesting way to connect it to 2003. I was in Kentucky, so yeah, going to mall was a cool like hangout place. You know, people chill. But you know, some of the cool spot for me was like Shopper Image. Do you remember that?
I don't think so.
It's out it's out of business. He went bankrupt in like before 2010. But it's where they had all these cool gadgets that no one needed.
Yeah,
But they had all these different gadgets that you go and just play around. They're just kind of everything. Like it's a tech that like it's a fascinating story because it's just so much fun. It's just a playtime. Like you go in and you test it out, and they would have all these different toys that no one needs it, but it's cool. So yeah, that's like every time we go to shopping mall, like I would hunt down Sharper Image. I
yeah.
would go to it and check it out.
Oh,
So that's
Sharper
kind of like
Image.
the
Yeah, I love Sharper Image. Sharper Image was
yeah,
fun.
it's
Yeah, I used to go lay on the bed. I
yeah,
fell
Sharper.
asleep. I fell asleep one time on the
Yeah,
beds.
yeah, that's out of business now, unfortunately. You know, because nobody needed any of their shit.
The massagers go play with the freaking bro. It was a
Well, they
toy
had
store.
arcade games,
It was
pinball
a
games.
toy store. I legit was a toy store. I forgot about
Yeah,
that. Sharper Image was awesome.
yeah. And another one for me was Legos. I would always go and it's still now I go to Lego shop all the time.
I hate fucking
And then food
Legos.
court. Food court, man. I
Oh,
would always
food
pick up
court.
random
Still
different
right
food.
now. Still right now. If I go to the
Yeah,
mall, I
yeah,
gotta get something for the food court. It has to
yeah.
be done.
But you know what? My shopping mall I went to, I don't remember arcade. We didn't have arcade. So
Oh.
I got a little jealous when I saw the arcade.
Have you ever worked in a shopping mall?
I didn't work at a shopping mall. I
I
just,
have. It
that's a
was
hangout.
fun. It was
Oh,
fun.
yeah?
It was fun.
Nice.
It's because you see a bunch of characters. And plus you get mall discount and people know you and stuff, so you become familiar. It's just like every day is a different adventure. It doesn't get boring because there's like people coming in and out, so it's always new. And there's a different atmosphere in the
Yeah.
mall. That's why like shows like Stranger Things is like so nostalgic because you're like, yo,
Yeah, yeah.
you can relate to
Oh,
it,
let's go hang out in the mall. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and then
You
you
don't,
have
yeah, you don't do that shit nowadays, but
yeah.
everything's online now.
Even but I
No,
mean
that's awesome.
I can't relate to the ice the roller skating thing because I never did that. That was not part of me. But
Yeah, I have
uh
that either.
but this episode of Last of Us really resonated with me, especially when it comes to nostalgia and what it means to be a kid. And I know
Right.
she's a teenager, whatever, but in a sense where we also look at it as she never had a proper childhood. So
No,
no matter what,
no.
you're forever going to be a kid because you don't know the true essence of being a kid because you're trying to survive. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, that,
it's
yeah,
I
that's the feeling I got. Like she never had any of those things. Like obviously it's a fictional character, but we had it all the time. We kind of take it for granted, right?
yeah.
That's how.
But
That was
yo,
fun times.
there's this one thing that you have on your topic, and I appreciate you have it because when I was watching it, I was just like, I will not look away because Ellie and Joel are going through this together in pain, and which was the stitching part.
Oh, you gonna go there?
It's the
Oh yeah,
stitching
yeah.
part, yo. That
That
stitching
was
part was so dope and gross.
so slow. I was like, oh,
They
they're
did it
shorter. Like
good.
I was
They
like,
did it good. Like they did it good.
yeah, that was gut wrenching. That was. Yeah, I was like, that's hurt. That hurts. That's painful.
I love
But you
how
know
they
what?
ended
She did
too.
not. I was actually expecting the way it was going to end was Ellie, and I'm making I'm guessing here, but because they highlighted that she shot somebody, I was assuming it was Riley after she got infected. Like she starts twitching, she starts losing her.
But I think they're really the writers are really making the show very human, and it goes without saying like we already know that Riley was Ellie's first kill. We already know Ellie survives and Riley dies. We already know that. We put it together.
Yeah.
And they're really avoiding showing us the gore when we don't need to see it. Like when Sam died, we didn't see his face. We saw the blood on the floor. When Henry shot himself, we saw the expression. When Tess died, we see the expression. When, like, we're not seeing their deaths. And I think it's such a very human bliss feeling knowing that we know it. We just don't need to demonize them. Like we don't need to brutal them and gore them for just our pleasure. Let them die as human, because nobody really knows how. I mean, humans don't know how they die. At the same time, we know
Uh,
it's done, and we could see the grief, and I think it's done very poetically.
yeah, I kind of agree. But I was actually expecting to see something there because they just. I think I'm still
Are you
curious
expecting
what
as
happens afterwards,
because
right?
you're greedy? You want to see more? Like you want
Well,
more?
I am. If I was one of the sins, I would be greed. But I'm guessing we will get more. Just because I feel like he's still missing a little bit though because they're just sitting there and they said it's kind of continue forward. But there's is Martin come in that picture after? Like, do we see that part or like? I don't feel like I got a closure there. That's the only thing I'll say about this episode that's negative.
I
Um,
mean, this Ellie's the main character, okay? Ellie and Joel,
yeah,
they're the main character. We're going to see more. Uh, is it going to be in season one? I don't know. I cannot answer that. Maybe it might be in season two because we don't know what the season two is going to be. And how
yeah,
closely he's going to
they
follow the
always add it.
game, or if they're going to add like first five like in because as fans of gamers, there's a time skip from ending of Last of Us 1 versus last start of Last of Us 2. What happens in the middle, we would love to know. So if they surprise us with it,
Yeah,
it'll be a whole new surprise for everybody. Uh, but what I fear is, I think there might be a backlash from the gamers because they anal. And the only reason they haven't been a black backlash right now because is they're following the show to the respect is which is the game. Not far off from it. So there will be a couple of assholes that are like, "Oh, this sucks. This is not how it's supposed to be." Blah blah blah, because they have their own
right,
fantasy imagination, like they're the fucking writer. Um, but I really hope that season two explores more of filler. I rather get to know the unknown and discover something new that I don't know. Well, I mean, you're discovering everything new. Um,
right.
but uh, the next episode is going to be great.
Yeah, I saw the preview. It looks like a very action packed one, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very good. I'm in a little
So
panic mode. I'm in a little panic mode. But yeah, complete it. I'll come back to my panic mode.
so initially, and I said this previous videos. I always thought like Ellie was gonna bring Joel back to I don't know a more human person, but it feels like you have obviously that go happening, but at the same time, I feel like Ellie's becoming more and more like cutthroat Joel, and I feel like from the preview I saw yesterday, it looks like she's gonna be taking care of some business. That's what it feels like. It's not gonna be smooth sailing. Uh, she's probably gonna do most of the action, right?
I have a theory, and it could be also because I know the game, so I don't want to ruin it for you or give you a spoiler. But you're gonna enjoy next week's episode. Um, and I agree. I agree that Ellie has grown, and her growth is all towards the bond and relationship she has with Joel. Like, um,
Mm.
what episode was that? Was that episode 5 when we get a very small glimpse of Joel teaching her how to use a rifle? Um,
6.
yeah, the target practice. Oh yeah, it was right before he gets stabbed. Yeah, you're right. It was right before he gets
Yeah,
stabbed.
and also right, and also episode 4, he's teaching her how to use the gun,
Yeah,
right?
so it's like those
Yeah,
moments you see, like even though we see them 3 months later,
Right.
I'm kind of glad we're not going the Oregon Trail route and like just wait forever.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm old enough to reference Oregon Trail. I mean, that game was epic,
Classic
epic.
game.
That game
Classic game.
for I would never play it again, but
For,
first time it was epic.
oh, I played it much later on in my life. Actually, I played that in college one time.
Bro, you died
Yeah.
like randomly. What was the quickest death? I don't
Yeah.
remember, but I know you have had
I
mad quick
don't.
deaths, man.
I don't remember the game. I just know that you just very basic.
Oh,
You just trying to go to the.
yo, yeah. So, so let's like to wrap it up. Uh, I can consider this one of the weaker episodes, even though as much as I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I agree with that.
I know people rated a 9. I think 9 is fair, and the show itself is fucking amazing. The show is a work of art.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
not much of a insult to say it's the weakest episode, considering every episode's been fucking amazing,
Amazing.
right? Like, yeah,
I'm comparing it to like episode 6, which was fucking grand. Episode 6 was awesome. Episode 5 was awesome.
yeah,
Like it was good. It felt the thing, but yes, as a viewer, as somebody that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm in panic mode because a very important chapters are coming. I don't know how they're gonna do the pacing. I don't want it to be rushed. I want please give me 2 hours. If you have to do a 2 hour episode, I want a 2 hour episode. Like I'm okay with it. I think everybody would be too. It's just I'm hoping it gives a good end and everybody's happy. You cannot please everybody. It's not possible, but you've been doing such a good job. So I trust them. But at the same time, I'm just like, yo, man, there's a lot that needs to happen in 2 episodes.
do you think some of that could be pushed back to season two?
I hope. I like that's the thing.
Mm.
Originally when they announced Last of Us, I was hoping this was a 2 season or like 1.5 season like kind of show. Because 9 is not good. Like if they said it was, let's just say 14 episodes, I would have been more comfortable. Like even 12, I would have been comfortable. Like again, I said it's a 15-hour game. Um, Even if you cut off the bullshit, the making of stuff, like pacing, I'm still thinking you need 10 hours. And that 1 hour, I'm like, how much are you cutting and what are you doing? I like I said, the gamers are upset that there's not many infected, so we have lost the infected aspect, and that's probably where the timing went. I I hope the finale is grand. I hope it's grand.
Yeah, me
I
too.
I hope we come back here after episode 9 and be like, holy shit! Like we need that. We need that.